Hello, Dr. Sushma Singh this side. Today in Unit 11, Marriage and its Changing Pattern, we start our lecture with the topic Dissolution of Marriage. We read at the beginning of the unit that it is not easy to define marriage with precision. So also correspondingly, it is not easy to define divorce in clear terms except saying that only those who marry can opt for divorce. Often, breakdown in the marriage is not a one-time event. It happens in the stages. We need to carefully study the circumstances under which it is possible to seek divorce and its particular mode acceptable in the context of a particular society. Michel holds that there is a general correlation between marriage, stability, genetical rights over offspring, and the form of descent. Bernard and Goods conclude, all things being equal, marriage should be stable and of long duration in patrilineal society where such rights are vested in corporate descent groups, of medium duration and stability in unilineal society wherein these rights are held by individuals rather than corporate group, and of short duration and low stability in matrilineal society where genetical rights are never transferred out with corporate group, and in bilateral society where such rights are irrelevant. The above quotations provide us with a reasonable basis for constructing hypotheses in the context of particular society for studying the issue of dissolution of marriage. Now let us move to the point divorce. The possibilities and mechanisms of dissolving a marital union among the varied through times between and within communities. For details of how, when, and what of divorce in different communities in India, we will see Unit 7. We need to make a special note of these efforts on the part of the Muslim organization in India to bring about changes in the practice of triple talaq. Hasina Khan of Awaz-e-Nawaz, who represents one of the several groups that have lobbied for a model Nikahnama, told the Hindu that the document presented by the AIMPLB was ridiculous and also dangerous. She said that although the model Nikahnama does advise men to avoid divorce and practice of saying talaq in one setting does not rule out that it is incorrect. There has been no basic reform, she said. Disturbed by the tension of reforms in the name of the model Nikahnama, Muskan, a woman activist according to the Hindu of 7th May 2005, told the model Nikahnama drafted by the All India Muslim Personal Law Board in Bhopal. The debate over Muslim women's rights has brought to the forefront the fact that being treated as a second-class citizen, the fact that AIMPPL has come out with a somewhat more flexible approach to the question of divorce shows that there is some space for negotiation and arbitration. These developments symbolizes a transformation that we need to focus on while studying the changing pattern of marriage in India. Recognition of divorce leads to us to the next logical step of remarriage of a divorcee and also of a widowed person. Now let us move to the point remarriage. Remarriage in the case of the divorcee or a widowed person is a matter of concern in almost all sections of Indian population. The increase in the rate of divorce has given rise in the rate of the second marriage for both men and women in India. The state of being widow or widower is a direct outcome of the death of a married person, and This necessitates an examination of the rights, restrictions, and duties entailing this stage for both a man and a woman. For instance, Fuller has reported that Brahman widows cannot work as temple priests. Sharma has observed that in parts of the Indian North India, as being custom, a widow without children may not inherit property. It reverted to her husband's natal family. Existence of many negative sanctions imposed on widows may encourage them to remarry. Many groups that did not earlier allow widow to remarry have now given more flexibility in this manner. While summing up this section, you should consider the customary ban on the remarriage of widow of a higher caste among the Hindus. Those with education and relatively affluence, thereby higher social status, do not observe such customs, and the laws of the land permits such marriages. Remarriage brings into existence a variety of step relationship. It is important to pay attention to the sociological aspect of such relationship. The data to collect is to be with reference to the term of referring to and terms of the addressing such relative, as well as the rights to inheritance of the step siblings. Children born and brought up in a nuclear family setting have been reported to find it a welcome extension of the close relatives to socialize with. These impressions need to be explored in depth sociological study. Now let us conclude the unit. Unit focused on changing aspect of marriage in India. At the same time, it discussed common and diverse features of marriage in different communities of the country. We raised the question about universality of marriage in India and pointed out the trends indicating deeper changes in the institution of marriage. In almost all aspects of marriage, namely age at marriage, rules regulating marriage, patterns of spouse selection, wedding ceremonies and rites, issues of status and dissolution of marriage, and occurrence of the remarriage, we concentrated on the nature of changes taking place in the context of marriage in India. Here we want to close this lecture, and we have come to the end of the unit. Thanks for listening.